in heartbreaking fashion.
Well, they won, then they lost.
Yeah, they won, then they lost. And then we're trying to sort out the pieces. They got a second chance, Washington did, at a game-winning field goal due to an offsides penalty on defensive tackle Dexter Lawrence. Joe Judge is not placing the blame for the loss solely on him, though.
Something we don't want to have, something that's not acceptable. But, look, we're not going to turn around and put this game on any one player or one play. There's enough things we can clean up as a team. We can play better going forward. So we're not going to go ahead and isolate one incident and say that's the difference in the game right there. So we got to make sure we do a lot of things better for 60 minutes.
How you do anything's how you do everything. They had 11 penalties for 81 yards.
A lot of penalties.
Including a really big one that negated the Daniel Jones touchdown run in the second quarter.
Drop passes.
Darius Slayton. Yeah, I mean, this was a rough game all around for Big Blue.
Also, this needs to be said. Don't lose to backup quarterbacks in division. That's what got Jared Goff a ticket to Detroit.
That's true.
He lost to Nick Mullins, November. Remember, we always thought Goff and McVay, kumbaya. And then Jared Goff lost to a backup quarterback in division. These division games, these national TV games, they're big. Like, these are the standalone games that everybody in the league's watching. So Daniel Jones is losing to a backup, so somebody's going to pay the price. Goff in L.A. paid the price. It may not be Daniel Jones. It may be Jason Garrett. It may be Joe Judge. It may be Dave Gettleman. But when you're losing, when the owner's watching, and you're losing in-division rivalry games to a backup quarterback, somebody's going to lose their job. So in L.A., McVay wasn't going to lose his job.
Right.
It was Jared Goff, who we thought it was great, lost his job. So that game last night, that's the start of Mara's going, okay, now we're losing to backup quarterbacks in our division. Yeah.
Somebody's standalone Thursday night games.
Now, it may only be Gettleman that gets whacked, but somebody, when you start doing that, Joy, that's when you get whacked. Somebody will pay for that.
Well, they don't look put together.
No.
So, and that's why it's like look, it's not at all Dexter Lawrence's fault, right? Like, Joe Judge is right. There was plenty of blame to go around. We focus on the last play in the biggest moments because that matters. It's not nothing that he did that, obviously, but they had some opportunities throughout the game to not be in that situation.
Yeah.
Like, you win throughout the game. Obviously, it comes down to the last second and what you do in that moment, but you can't put it on one player. That's not how it works. But you're absolutely right. Like, you need to win these games. That is a game the Giants should have won. Now, I feel like Washington was going to win because of their defense.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even necessarily because of their defense. I mean, you saw how grooved everything is for the offensive side of the ball now. So I thought that was a really big night for Taylor Heineke and for Washington because not only is it an in-division win, but I think he looked good.
Hey.
Like, I'm not.
Joey,
I don't know if I'm making an aggressive move to get another quarterback now, and that's why I wanted to see what he did last night.
They let him throw it 46 times. That's with a run game. I mean, they ran the ball better than the Giants. So it's like the coaching staff isn't bragging how they love him, but their actions are showing me in Washington.
Yeah.
Throw it almost 50 times.
And New York is being conservative, as they always are.
We love our quarterback, but we don't want him to throw as much or run as much. So, again, Washington, it looks like to me on play calling, Taylor Heineke, their defensive coach is like, you throw it almost 50 times.
Well, they also should have done that. This is your guy now, so you got to see what you have in him. Not that you need to sacrifice a game, but he's going to have to go out there and have big performances if you're going to win this division and win playoff games, which is what you have him there for. Yeah. So why not air it out and see what he has going on? And I thought he looked good. So Aaron Rodgers continues to downplay the poor performance against the Saints week 1. He says the team is not going to overreact to one bad game and will move forward with the rest of the season.
All right.
There shouldn't be some big drastic change and alteration the way that we do things, the way we practice, the way we prepare. If it's good enough to get you to this point, then it's good enough from this point forward. So I haven't changed any of the stuff that I've been doing. Obviously, we got to play better. But if we're starting to freak out after 1 week, we're in big trouble.
I don't think anybody is freaking out.
Well, I mean, locally, I'm sure they are upset, and he's talking to local reporters there who are, going to continue to ask him. And I don't know what the question was, but it sounds like it was something to the degree of, are you guys doing anything differently this week because of the blowout loss to the Saints? Which is a question that you're going to get in those press conferences. And he is right. Why would you change anything that you're doing? they know how to prepare. They know what they're doing. They came out flat. It was a blowout. There were a lot of lopsided games in week 1 that I think will correct themselves throughout the rest of the season.
Yeah, Belichick's worst month is September. September's a quirky month. It's a weird month. It's the hardest month to bet football. It's the hardest month. You just don't know what you have. Are these rookies capable of playing? Are these, again, these teams are all playing. They're all playing their first, second, third, fourth, fifth round pick. So, there's going to be weirdness in September.
If you look at week 1's scores and how some of those games finished, take a deep breath.
Right.
The Packers are not a bad team. Do I think that some of the offseason drama or, energy or whatever affected week 1? Yes, I think that's fair to say. Everything plays a role.
Yeah.
But I think they'll be fine. He's absolutely right in saying that he said they're not going to make it bigger than it was. You can't react like that week to week. If you win by 50, if you lose by 50, you have to go out there and start the week over. Not that you don't learn from it, but you can't weigh over you, especially after week 1. So for the first time, Hard Knocks will follow one team during the regular season, and the Colts are the team that will be featured this year. HBO will be with the team through the end of the season, which would include the playoffs if they qualify. There'll be at least 9 episodes, and the first one will air on November 17th. This is all the information we have about the series. We don't know yet what the criteria is for the team being selected, and if the Colts were able to turn it down. The NFL Film senior executive said, thanks to HBO, along with the incredible cooperation from the Colts, we were able to deliver a groundbreaking new edition of the series. So that seems to hint that the Colts agreed to this.
Weird.
We don't have an answer or confirmation on that yet, so we're still getting a little information about it. Twitter didn't have a good response to it.
Obviously, yeah.
Which, make of that what you will, but I was a little surprised that this was the announcement. I don't know that I would, if it was the option, I would definitely decline to have cameras in my facility and around the team during the regular season. It seems like a massive distraction that you don't need, especially in a season where you're reintroducing Carson Wentz, who is going to be a major storyline for Hard Knocks. So I don't know what the whole motivation, other than more content, obviously from HBO and all of that makes sense. But from the Colts' perspective, I don't know why this is a good decision.
Joy with the news.
Well, that's the news.
And thanks for stopping by.
The Herd Lie News.
So a lot of things to discuss. Blazing 5, top of next hour. Albert Burr joins us live, brought to you by Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing, Monday morning quarterback. All right, just give me your impressions of Daniel Jones. My takeaway was the Giants keep telling me they love him, but I watched the game plans. That last drive, it's 2 runs into the line. They couldn't run all night. Saquon had 1 big run. So you're not telling Taylor Heineke had 14 more throws, and it's his third